Welcome, everybody. My name is Arjun Roy, producer, recordist, and mix engineer, coming at you from Grande Prairie, Alberta, my hometown. We are recording at Better Than Fred's. Excellent venue, wonderful bar, and purveyor of fine barbecues. This is episode 16, if you can believe it, of a series of unedited conversations that I'm calling The Hometown Hustle. This deals with my artistic journey throughout the arts and music scene in the Peace Country and all the people who helped me get where I am today. This week, clearly 7 days after last week's episode, an entire week later, I have two guests. You may recognize them from their band. They might be my favorite band in town right now. That's no joke.
Oh, geez.
This is Zachary K. and Dave Oostra back.
Aloha.
Hello, everybody.
From the Northbloods. Gentlemen, thank you. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
Dave, I'm glad
7
you
days
wore
later.
I was going to say, I'm
Yes,
glad you wore
yeah.
the same shirt.
Yes, I did.
wore my
Yeah.
Origami Army shirt again.
Continuity.
Yes, continuity.
It's all about the
It's been a
continuity.
week. We could have forgotten some stuff. you know.
Yeah. Good thing we
exactly.
did.
Yeah,
Good thing we did.
Yeah.
We're really on the ball with this. But thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
being
having
here.
us.
So last week we talked with Dave about a bunch of stuff, and it brought us up to kind of like the Northbloods starting up. But
Yeah.
let me take you back down memory lane a little bit.
Sure,
And then
yeah.
we'll pick it up there, shall
Yeah.
we? Zach, where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Well, I was born in Edmonton.
Okay.
My family was living in High Prairie, though,
Right.
which is my hometown. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that much detail. So I was
good.
raised in High Prairie, yeah. I lived there for the first 20 years of my life or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. You graduated high school there, did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then did you move to Grande Prairie afterwards?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
got
I
it.
moved to Grande Prairie. I want to say it was 2010, 2011, something like that. Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister, yeah, and
Right.
she was living here actually. That's why I moved
Oh,
here. To
okay.
Yeah, I moved in with her and her
Yep.
man. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
What were you into growing up?
Well, I lived in the country, so I was kind of a country kid. So, spent a lot of time outside in the bush. My dad was a hunter, so we did a lot of
Cool.
hunting
Okay.
when I was at an early age. Biking, walking, hiking.
Nice. Yeah.
We had a river right behind our house, so I spent some time canoeing as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you get into music? Was it always around? Was it a thing that you were growing up with, or did you take to it later at some point?
I was lucky enough to have a muso mother. Like
cool.
She was a huge music fan from like the 1970s, 80s onwards, right? So instead of getting like, Mary Had a Little Lamb or those standard kids songs, I had Going to California by Led Zeppelin sung to me while I was going to sleep in my crib.
Awesome.
So thank you, Mom.
That's amazing.
I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. Yeah,
That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, it was super cool.
Were you always into singing and writing, or did you start out being into music in other ways?
Guitar was kind of where it started for me.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I was always one of those kids that just kind of sung when he was happy most
Oh,
of the
cool.
time. So I guess
Yeah.
I had a great childhood because I sung a lot, right? Sang in the shower. But I got a guitar when I was about, I want to say I was like 13 years old.
Okay.
Kind of like your average teenager that's like, I want
it's
to
a
learn
good
the
age.
guitar.
Yeah.
Mainly for the girls, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I got a guitar for I want to say it was my 13th birthday, and my parents got me it was a cherry red Cort electric guitar.
Very cool.
I can't remember what model it was, but so I brought it home. I learned Smoke on the Water, like everyone
beautiful.
else does,
Yep.
And then I found it to be too difficult, so I put it in my closet for about a year. And then on one rainy day, I just thought, well, I'm going to give this another try. So I picked it up and I played Smoke on the Water again. And I'm like, okay, I still know that, so I got to learn something else, right? And all of a sudden, I just, took a shot and I bent my first note, and it was, and I never looked back. I never looked back. It was like
Beautiful.
it was that first time of anything. It's just, it's amazing. Right?
You do like your note bends.
I do like my note bends. I really do. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome. So,
Yeah.
never
Cool.
looked back. And then the
Okay.
songwriting, it didn't really take off until I was about 15, 16. I started to kind of dabble in the songwriting. I got myself an acoustic guitar and I went through a heavy folk phase by that point. Folk music.
Oh, yeah, folk music is
folk music.
Folk music is a good music,
I got into the Neil Young catalog, and
Yep.
he just really inspired me. So started to try my hand at writing, and that was kind of where that started.
Interesting. Now, did you play and jam with other folks, or were you kind of playing sort of by yourself for yourself?
A little bit of both. One of my best friends my best friend at the time was Buddy Dillon, as we call him.
Buddy Dillon.
Buddy Dillon.
He lived in town, so I spent a lot of time at his house, and he had two older brothers, and they were both musicians themselves. Like, they both liked playing guitar, and his oldest brother was in a punk band.
Oh, yeah.
And so we spent a lot of time around music, and that kind of inspired me because I saw how much fun those guys were having. Playing around town and doing house parties and stuff. So my sister was the same age as his older brother, so spent a lot of time around the music, and I was inspired to learn to play. And I myself wasn't a big punk guy, but I eventually got into metal and
cool.
Became
As we all do.
one of those
As
metal
we all
guys.
do.
When I was in junior high school.
Crushing oranges, mercilessly.
Yeah. Long hair. I think I dyed my hair purple at one point too, like
Nice.
black with purple streaks. I think, something like that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, it was awesome. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then so I played a little bit around with them. Dylan was a bass player.
Okay.
And so, I'm like, well, if you're playing bass, I'm gonna learn the guitar, and we're gonna figure this out. And we never really went anywhere with it, but because I lived in the country, I spent a lot of time out there alone.
Sure.
So I'm like, well, guitar can keep me company, and never really put it down.
Cool.
Just played and played and played.
Yep. What inspired you at the time? Like to play and write and the whole thing.
Obviously, my love of music that my mom gave me, passed on to me, and then I just felt my surroundings too. Like I base a lot of my songwriting off of the environment in which I live, and Northern Alberta it's a harsh climate, and
absolutely.
I just find a lot of inspiration in the the tumultuous nature of the weather, right?
Yeah.
So, just all around me.
Yeah. Cool. Were you in bands, like in high school or any of that kind of thing?
No, I didn't really. I kind of kept the music thing under the rug for a while.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't know I was a musician.
Got it.
I think the first performance I ever gave was I was in grade 12, and we had a talent show near the end of the year, and I played "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd, and nobody knew that I could sing, and I ended up winning. I think I won like $500. It was
That's
pretty
amazing,
awesome.
man. Yeah.
So, but it was terrifying. Like up until that point, I wouldn't even perform in front of my family members.
Okay.
So it was kind of I'm going to take a shot here, and with the reception that I got, I just kind of kept going from there. So no band then, but after I graduated, I got involved with a cover band. We did classic rock and country songs. The Alder Ridge Band.
Good times. Alder Ridge Band. That's great. Yeah. Were you guys based out of High Prairie, or were you here? Okay.
High Prairie, yeah. Because I didn't come to Grande Prairie until a couple of years after that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where did you guys play? Where would you guys perform?
We would play. I think we had a couple gigs. We played a family dance at one point. Yeah, a family dance. So there's a lot of kids, and I was at one of the school gymnasiums.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. And then we did High Prairie always had a crash up derby, like a car derby kind of thing, for Canada Day. So we played the Canada Day event out at Triangle Hall, which is, 10, 15 minutes out of High Prairie. And there was a lot of people there, so that was pretty cool. That was my first experience with a big crowd, which was a lot of fun. But I played with some older guys. They were a couple of teachers in town. And
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah, look at me now. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's interesting, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
Did you take to, I guess, what leads me to this question is when I see you guys perform, you seem just so natural on stage. Like you're one of those front persons who, it looks like you're always just, meant to be on stage. Like, did you take to it quickly once you started gigging out with those guys?
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of put me front and center, and I don't know, I feed off the energy, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was always a bit of like the class clown type, I guess the attention would just kind of build and build and build and build.
Yeah.
And, give and take kind of thing. It was awesome. But
that's really cool. Yeah. What brought you to Grande Prairie?
a severe bout of mono.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I was 20. I was 20 and I was supposed to go on a trip to Jamaica or something like that. And I didn't get flight insurance. So get flight insurance. So I wasn't able to go on that trip, and I ended up spending probably about 3 months in bed, just sicker than a dog. And during that time, I had a lot of time alone. I guess I spent a lot of time alone and had a lot of self-reflection time. And I just hit a point where I'm like, I need to get out of town. I've been here too long. It was just getting a little stagnant for me. Sure. I love my hometown, but I just needed something more. And my sister and her man, they got a house, and they had a huge basement available. And they said, hey, if you want to come live with us,
cool.
Come on down. And I wanted to kind of see what else was out there at the time. So I made the trip and moved to GP.
Nice.
Yeah, been here ever since.
What did you do when you got here?
I actually got a job at Valhalla Pier.
Oh, right. Valhalla Pier, where you creeped on Dan Aykroyd. Is that an accurate thing to say?
Yeah, that's an accurate thing to say. Yes.
Every once in a while when we're doing these things, I forget that sometimes people watch these things who are not from here. So obviously most people know who Dan Aykroyd is, but what they don't know is that some time ago, Dan Aykroyd was here for the opening of the Dinosaur Museum? The
I think it was a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser.
It still hadn't been built yet, but there was some sort of a charity ride as well, because he's an avid motorcycle fan.
Yes, that's right. Okay. There was I think this was when I was in Boston, when my family and I lived there, and there was a week or a weekend where every other person I knew started posting selfies with Dan Aykroyd on Facebook. I'm like, what is going on? What is happening? But I guess that's what he was here for.
Yeah. And he walked by. He came into the store, but I was busy helping somebody else, I think. And one of my coworkers came up and said, "Did you see Dan Aykroyd?" And I said, "No, I didn't see him." And they're like, "Well, he just left and he went that way." So I was in the middle of helping a customer, and I'm like, "I'm going to be right back." And I just took off down the street just so I could get a glimpse of Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Of course.
Did you catch him?
Oh yeah,
talk to him?
Yeah. Well, I didn't talk to him, but by the time I got to him, there was already people surrounding him. But I was within arm's reach of Dan Aykroyd.
Understand that close to greatness.
That close to greatness. Absolutely, yeah, it was good.
Amazing,
good times.
How long did you work at Valhalla Pier for?
I think on and off for about 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I worked there for about a year, and then I started at the GPRC. So. And then I went back part-time while I was at the GPRC. But then, unfortunately, they closed on that second time around. But yeah. But it was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great place, great store.
Heck yeah. What were you going to school for?
I went into the education program, and I was planning on becoming a music teacher. So I started taking, a bunch of music courses. That's where I met this guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And I eventually just switched because, I don't know, I was drowning in theory, and I think it just it was hindering my, not that theory is not it's not important, but for me it was just not what I wanted to pursue kind of thing by that point. So I then switched and I was still in the education program, but I switched my major to English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And social studies or something like that.
Yeah. What drew you to teaching?
I grew up in a teaching family, so my mom was a teacher, and I have a few cousins who were teachers. My sister's a teacher, and so I mean, it was kind of an inevitability, I think. But I worked in the oil patch for a couple of years as well after I graduated high school, and I think what really brought me to the profession was I got sick and tired of hearing people bashing the generations, the new generation.
Sure.
Where it's just like, that new generation, they've been led astray.
Right.
And I got sick and tired of people, saying that. Yeah. So I felt like, instead of perpetuating that attitude, I wanted to be the change I wanted to see in the world, as cliche as that sounds.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, no, I think I could do it. And so
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So I took a chance.
That's amazing. Yeah. I appreciate that because a lot of times, just as you say, a lot of people complain about this stuff, but not a lot of people take sort of actionable steps towards making a difference. And, teaching is one of those things that there are a lot of teachers in my family, like back in India and sort of where the rest of my extended family live. Like there are a lot of teachers. And talk about like making a change.
Yeah.
Teaching the young minds of tomorrow, as cliched as that is to say, it's what it is, man.
Yeah.
So to have people who are passionate about it, getting into it can only be a good thing.
And it's the most rewarding job I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
How long have you been teaching for now?
I think total is about 4 years now.
Oh, okay,
I think
gotcha.
actually it'll be 4 years as of January. I'll be going into my 4th year, so it's been 3 full years now.
Got it.
Yeah.
I forget, could you do the full degree at GPRC, or did you do 2 years and then transfer it to somewhere else?
I was in the transfer program, so I had to do 2 years in Edmonton.
Oh, okay, got it. How was your time in Edmonton?
I loved Edmonton.
Yeah.
It was one of those tumultuous periods in your life where it was the first time I'd lived away from family. Like, because when I moved here, I was with my sister and her partner, and I have a lot of family in this town. Like my mom has a bunch of sisters, and a bunch of them live in town. So I was surrounded by family. So it was my first time kind of out on my own. So that was a bit of a shock at first, and then I went through some pretty hectic stuff with my partner at the time, and so we ended up splitting up. And so my first year in Edmonton was a little bleak. I was, I was pretty depressed most of that time. But then I ended up living with my cousin, and he moved back from Newfoundland, and that was an awesome year. And then I really learned to love Edmonton. It's a great city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you move back to GP right after graduation, or did you like travel or anything and then start teaching?
So I moved back to Grande Prairie. Well, I finished my practicum here.
Oh, right.
I did my practicum here, and then so I worked the summer for the city. And then, but the spring of my last year, so I was still in Edmonton, I actually met my current girlfriend. And so she's from New Zealand. And as it played out, we ended up having to leave the country. So I ended up moving to New Zealand for most of 2016.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, which was...
Sorry, go ahead.
Which was amazing. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, and after moving back, was that your first year teaching?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I understood.
So the fall of 2016 was my first year. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Were you still playing and writing and stuff at the time? Like, was music one of those things that, like the year that you had in Edmonton, for example, like were you playing and writing at the time? Was that a thing that you leaned on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, music kept me sane.
Yeah. like a lot of us, I guess.
Like a lot of us, yeah. It was my therapy.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I wrote our first song, Man of the World.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived downtown, Grandin area.
Oh, yeah.
You did that as like a school project or something, didn't you?
Actually, I did. I wrote Man of the World as a school project. I was taking an English course. It was a 4th year English course in modernity.
Ooh.
And so our goal was to try to capture the gritty underbelly of Edmonton and like an industrial city like Edmonton, but kind of get a through line of beauty. So you got to kind of combine gritty and beauty together. Yeah. So that was my attempt anyway, was the song Man of the World. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, I got a good mark on it.
Okay, there you go. That's the way, man. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your time in New Zealand a bit?
Sure, yeah. Well, I could talk
as
about
much as you would like.
Yeah,
for sure.
Ready.
That's where I wrote the Red Mountain EP, so the one we worked on together, right? And it was a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
It was sprung on us. We didn't know. We had about a month's warning that she didn't get a renewed visitor's permit or whatever it was, or visa. There we go. So I had a month to decide. It was like, all right. You either go to New Zealand and for an indefinite amount of time, and you get to stay with your girlfriend, who I'd only been dating for about six months by that point, or you break up and you just start teaching. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, I still got some money left over, student loan money.
Some money.
Yep. So I think it'll be a good experience. So I took the plunge, and I'm really glad I did. It was amazing. I saw probably about 90% of the country.
Wow.
And, it was breathtaking.
That's amazing, yeah.
It was sweet because we couldn't get a job. So we when we flew in, we bought ourselves a car.
Yep.
And we tried looking for a job, and we tried to find a place that we wanted to call home for a while, but we just kind of traveled and I mean, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, so I
of course.
spend as much time at the filming locations as I could. I got to camp at the Gates of Mordor for about 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
Or maybe not that long. It was about a week. Yeah.
Simply camp at the guy. No,
I simply camped at the Gates of Mordor. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh.
I thought one does not do that, though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, one did.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
The one.
Yes.
And his
incredible.
girlfriend.
Exactly.
No, it was amazing. But yeah, and I don't know. I think nature is kind of my main inspiration for songwriting.
Got it.
You know, a lot of the songs that I've written just kind of have nature as an underlying theme. And I mean, New Zealand is a nature lover's paradise. Like everywhere you look is just stunning beauty. So spend a lot of time by the coast and on the ocean. I mean, the farthest you can be in New Zealand from the ocean is like 90 kilometers or something like that. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
And the town that we did live in was it was a beautiful, beautiful place. It was called New Plymouth, which is on the west coast of the North Island, on the surf highway is what they call it. So yeah, I got to watch a lot of pro surfers do their thing.
Oh, that's cool, man.
But the kind of the backdrop for the entire province of Taranaki, or it's not really a province, I can't remember what they call them there, like just a, kind of big geographical area, is a giant mountain called Mount Taranaki. And so it turns red during the sunsets, or when the sun goes down. But I couldn't stop looking at this mountain for 5 months probably, and it just inspired me so much. So I found great inspiration in the surroundings of that city, which was awesome.
Were you sort of writing while you were there, or was it like, you had that experience and when you returned, then you could process what had happened and write about it?
Well, there are a couple of the songs I wrote while I was there,
right.
Just based on the experiences, certain things that happened while I was there, and song Leviathan. I got the inspiration for that. My girlfriend and I took some lawn chairs, and we went to this wave break where a whole bunch of professional surfers would come and ride these waves, and it's apparently one of the most dangerous spots in the world for surfing, because there's just jagged rocks all along the coastline, but there's just some amazing barrels that you can just see from these cliffs. And we just sat there with our lawn chairs, and I brought my guitar with me, and I was just watching these guys kind of nail these waves, and while I'm sitting there, I came up with this little the opening riff for the song, and I'm like, the ocean is just so vast. We were staring off at the Tasman Sea, and there was a big storm on the horizon, and I just inspiration, sea monsters. I was also fighting off kind of my own existential dread at the time.
Sure, absolutely,
as one does when they're traveling the world.
Yeah, man.
As one simply does.
As one simply does when they're sitting by the ocean watching professional surfers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's that. Yeah. I mean, just various occurrences. When you go on adventures, you see you get all these different experiences, and they kind of I don't know. Inspiration kind of strikes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So.
That's one thing I love about art and artists and musicians, is people who are not artistic travel and they have the same experiences,
Absolutely.
They have profound experiences, they have deep experiences, but musicians kind of take that, and make something else out of it and somehow convey some part of that, like, intangible thing.
Yeah. Spiritual thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
yeah. It's deep. It's great. It's one of the things I love about art, man. It's one of the things I love about music.
Yeah, it's just, you can't explain it. You got to feel it.
That's just it. The first time I don't know when I first heard Leviathan. Probably, I came out to a jam, I think, and listened to you guys rehearse.
You came
something
to
like that.
our rehearsal space.
That's right.
Above my parents' garage, and we did.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of thing we did, I guess, way back in the day. But we recorded some one take versions of all the songs.
Absolutely.
Because you were gonna do some producing, and you wanted to kind of hear them and get a feel for kind of what the songs were. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So we recorded all of those that were going to be on the record.
Yeah, that's right. I remember hearing Leviathan specifically, and it was one of those things where I don't know how, but somehow you tapped into all the stuff that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So as soon as you started playing, I feel like, because you guys as a band perform it, so everyone paused, the energy kind of went down, and it became like it was the same place, it was the same players, the same setup, but somehow like everything was just like focused on you, and you start playing the riff, and then everyone comes in. It was a heck of a tune, and again, that's the intangible, unexplainable thing, like I felt it. I'm like, wow, what is this,
Yeah. Well, that whole trip was an emotional journey for me. So,
sure.
I'm just glad I was able to kind of capture that.
Yeah.
It was super cool. Well, these guys helped me capture that.
Sure.
Now, a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of, so you guys had met while you were at GPRC taking music before you switched into majoring in English. Yeah. Did you guys sort of, become friends at the time? Did you guys get into musical stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a couple projects while we were in a recording course together.
Right.
Yeah. We were taking the
music technology one.
Tech one.
Yeah. It was part of the interactive digital design program, but I was just taking it as an elective.
Okay.
I was in the Bachelor of Music program at GPRC, and so the tech courses weren't part of that, but I just took those as an option because I was interested in it. Yep. And I guess Zach was too, and we did a couple projects
I remember
together, and
it was that first project where we had to present a song. We had to write, we didn't have to write a song, but we could record something.
It was like anything, just record anything, yeah.
And so I wrote and recorded an original song.
Cool.
It was called Danger Love.
Yeah.
Danger Love.
And,
I might still have it on my phone, actually.
No way.
And we played it. So, so
email.
Oh my God.
We
Hold
shared
on.
live.
Yep.
We shared it live, and Dave loved it. Like he liked my songwriting and my singing. So he asked me to. He just kind of approached me in class and he said, "Hey, would you help me with my project?" And you were recording a cover of.
I recorded "Volcano" by Damien Rice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he
Zachary
asked me to sing on the cover, as well as who else was on? Who sang? Melissa
Scott.
Scott, yeah.
She sang the
Black Cloud.
girl vocal part because there's
right
in the second verse. It's
Yep.
That's hanging
does
around
that.
somewhere too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh my gosh, are you gonna play it? Is this what's up?
It's I've got the Better Than Fred's Wi-Fi.
Oh boy.
In here, so there we go. It's
pick up on
loaded.
the
Yeah.
mic?
Man, hold up the mic, dude. This is it. This is an exclusive right here.
Danger Love.
This is the
Never
first
before heard.
song I heard Zach.
I just want to say Danger
Sing
Love one more
ever.
time. Danger Love.
Oh, it's a really long intro. I'm just gonna. There we go.
I like long intros.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's MIDI.
Oh, nice.
One thing in this world that shines brighter than the rising sun. There's one thing in this world that hurts enough to make a brave man run, and it's called love, sweet love. Oh my God, it's the sweetest drug. We won't need no heaven above, as long as we've got that danger love.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice. You heard it here first.
Danger Love.
And I didn't know you were a singer or like anything. And you're just like, this is just the song I wrote, and you didn't have to write a song for the project. It was you could just do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chris was a little surprised. Chris McIntyre, he was a little surprised.
He was teaching the chorus.
Wow.
Yeah, cool. So, cool. So that's and then so Dave then asked me if I'd be a part of his project, which was recording a cover of Volcano, Damien Rice.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and then from there, we
tried to make an effort.
To jam a bit, but then there was a bit of a lull. A bit of a lull, and then I met Riley and Nelson at Howler's Lounge, as many of us musicians.
I was never really a part of the Howler's open mic nights. That was that kind of died out by the time I was.
Well, you were 17.
Well, it was still happening, I guess, while I was during my first couple months of GPRC. But I would have been 17 until like October. So
we had a really really lucky couple of years there because I was there for 2 years, and then I think it was the second year. That was the same. I remember the night clear as day. It was the night that Caleb Hart and Al Peterson met.
Oh, no way.
It was the night they met.
Oh my gosh.
And the night that they met and performed on stage for the first time together, where they just kind of did their thing. I remember Al talking about it on your podcast. It was the same night that me, Riley, and Nelson played together for the first time. Okay. So there was magic in the air that night, I think.
Must have been.
It was, absolutely.
Yeah. So then me, Riley, and Nelson kind of, we would jam a little bit. We kind of became, buddies. And we got to a point where we're like, okay, we're sitting on some good material. We should kind of pursue this and let's try to find a drummer.
Yep.
And, a light bulb went off in my head and I'm like, I think I know a guy. I know a guy.
We also I sort of knew you, but I didn't know the other two guys. And we had a mutual friend who kept trying to drag me over to one of your guys' house parties or something.
Ross Sharback.
Ross Sharback. Yeah, shout out to Ross Sharback.
Shout out.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Yeah, that's right. Actually, we were at a party. We were having a party at Riley's house, and Ross invited Dave. But he was definitely on our minds. I said, okay, well, how do you kind of ask a drummer to come play with you?
Sure.
Yeah. We knew that he was pretty good. So, more than pretty good.
Yeah.
Dave, how did they ask you? How did that go down?
Oh man, Zach wasn't there that night that I met Riley and Nelson, but yeah, Ross drugged me over to their place, and we just kind of jammed a little bit, and I wasn't playing drums. I didn't have any drums set up or anything. I was just we were just jamming on guitar, and then eventually you texted me saying you got a gig at North Country Fair, and
that would have been 2015.
Yeah. And then that was to get ready for that gig. Okay. That was when we kind of started actually trying to have practices and start playing together as a full band.
Got it.
So me, Riley, and Nelson, we we were already working on some of my original material.
Okay.
But I mean, we were missing something, right?
Yeah.
The key ingredient. So and then I landed this gig at North Country Fair. Because I guess I missed something in my storyline. I kind of had a bit of a brief solo career just with a solo run, just me and my acoustic guitar. I think it was 2012 I played North Country Fair solo.
Cool.
For the first time. And so I kind of made a good name for myself out there. I had a lot of people who really liked the music, and so they weren't hesitant to get me back, but I messaged the coordinator and I said, so, since you're putting me on the bill for 2015, would it be okay if I actually brought a band?
Nice.
And she said, of course. What are you called?
And you were like,
let me get back to you on that. That would have been about January of 2015.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it wasn't until about February or March. I'm like, okay, I've got to come up with a band name. And I was on the LRT in Edmonton, and just the Northbloods kind of just popped into my head, and I thought,
beautiful.
The Northbloods. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
One word.
Good name.
Yeah.
It's a good, solid name. It's very evocative.
Yes, evocative. It was cold that day, so I don't know.
There you go, man.
Just feeling the north wind.
The northness.
The northness. Yes.
The northness.
Running through the veins.
Oh, my gosh.
So
that's incredible.
I texted them the name, and they're like, yes.
Yes, that's the one. Great, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to find a good band name.
Of course.
It's so tough to, find something that fits with, the music you want to do, and something that sounds cool, and
of course,
whatever. So
something that isn't cheesy as all heck, and something that isn't already taken, and the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So that was, now you were in Edmonton. Were you guys in Edmonton at the same time ever, or no?
I don't think so.
2015? 2015.
Okay.
2015, I was in Edmonton, yeah.
So we were for a bit.
Okay, gotcha.
But we didn't, we didn't really hang out. There was kind of a lull in
what
between.
part of 2015? Like the start of the year or the fall?
I was there until March.
Okay. Yeah. So for one semester, we would have been living in Edmonton at the same time.
Cool. Gotcha.
Yeah.
By that point, I was already slowly moving back to Grande Prairie.
Yeah. Got it. Speaking of Nelson and Riley, so Riley's also a teacher.
He is, yeah.
Right. Did he study here? Did your paths cross while you guys were at school or anything like that? Or or did you guys kind of meet up at Howler's and that was the first time?
Yeah, that was the first time we actually met, was at Howler's. I had some friends from High Prairie who were already at the college the year I joined, because I think I took 4 years off after high school before I went back to college. I didn't really know, like I said, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do until I realized, I wanted to be a teacher, I guess. So, it was Howler's Lounge that we all met. I mean, there was an amazing crew for the 2 years that I was there. There was just so many of us that I made so many great friends there, and we all kind of just intermingled. And so I met Riley and Nelson. I didn't actually know they were musicians when I met them to start out with, but then the open mic nights started happening, and I got to see that, there's a lot of musicians around here, and we just kind of hit it off, and it was that night where we got on stage. I think we played Free Falling by Tom Petty.
Yep.
I think that was that one, and then we just kind of did an improv jam, which was super awesome, and and then that was kind of how we met.
Cool.
And then I found out that Riley was in the teaching program, and Nelson was accounting or something. Accounting, I think. Yeah.
Amazing.
Something like that.
Right. One thing that I appreciate about you guys that struck me when I first heard you and saw you was that all of you sing and harmonize, and that's really important.
Most of us.
Most of us.
Yeah.
He can. He just never does.
Never does. On the spot right now.
Yeah.
Put Dave on blast.
We try to pressure him.
Maybe one day.
One day. Next record.
At least whistle or something.
That's right. It's just the gang vocal.
Yeah.
Those guys are both amazingly talented singers.
Oh my gosh, and all of you sound so good together. Like, it's one of those things where it's clear that all of you have played and are used to your voice, your voices, alone and with each other, and it makes a huge difference in the presentation of a band when you have tight harmonies, tight whatever it is, whether it's call and response stuff. That's real good.
We all love the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yes.
They're amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Did you guys watch the Eagles documentary that was on, I guess it was Netflix, like a couple of years ago?
History of the Eagles?
I think so, right? Like, it's like 2 parts, and they're like 2.5 hour long.
Yeah.
It's a long thing.
I watched parts of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, though.
It's fascinating.
Yeah,
anyway,
super cool.
Yeah. I think that was my like Chris Farley SNL moment. Like, hey, remember that? Remember that thing? It was really cool. I think this thought doesn't go any deeper than that. But it was really cool.
Yeah. Hey, man, you remember Big Shiny Tunes 4?
That was
amazing. Big Fun Party Mix 6.
Oh my gosh. I feel like Big Shiny 3 or 4 was like the soundtrack for me, like moving to Canada.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I lived in like here in Northwest Territories, and so like people either would party all the time or not party, like in terms of like people in school. And so that wasn't me, and so I like was a guy who always played guitar at home.
Nice.
And then I'd hang out with my friends and go cruising. Like, you just drive around. Yeah. What did you do tonight? Well, we drove around a small town for 3 hours listening to CDs. It makes total sense.
We listened to Scar Tissue over and over and over again.
Dude, exactly. It was funny, though, because through doing that, like, I got hip to like music that was popular in Canada. I wouldn't have otherwise. And it's just like people putting on like, hey, this is the Tragically Hip. Hey, this is Big Sugar. This is Big Wreck. This is Biff Naked. And there was a lot of Big Shiny Tunes 3 and 4. And there was so much good music. It was
amazing.
Incredible. Like Wide Mouth Mason. I mean, just the list goes on.
Who else was on there? I know Fatboy Slim was on number 4. Yeah. Econoline Crush.
Econoline Crush. Oh gosh.
First band we opened up for.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, that was the prize for winning Battle of the Bands was you get to open for Econoline Crush at Better Than Fred's.
I see.
Which was right after our first performance at North Country Fair. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great segue back into that. Oh my gosh. How was the show at North Country Fair?
Oh, it was amazing.
North Country Fair.
North Country Fair.
It was great. I think. I remember it being pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it was pouring rain.
Okay.
Yeah, we played Friday night at what it was about 8:30, I think, 8:30, and so the sun was starting to go down, and it was pouring rain. But I just remember,
and we were just on one of the little stages. Okay. We weren't on main stage or anything, so. Yeah, it was a fun little show in the corner.
But we drew in, I just remember because the sun was going down and the lights were shining and you could just see people coming in like moths. It was just so cool.
Perfect.
And just dancing in the rain. Draw them in. And so I guess we made enough noise that they gave us like a main stage slot in 2017.
Cool. Yeah, we got to play there 2 years in a row. Which
Or no, it wasn't 2 years in a row. It was
we skipped 1 year.
Skipped 1 year.
Okay.
So 2017 we played main stage Thursday night. Oh, so amazing. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Which was also pretty fun.
What was your set like that first show at North Country Fair?
I don't remember.
I remember. That was
like a bunch of originals.
Just like
we played originals
that we had at the time.
Some of our what do you call them, B-sides that we haven't recorded
Yep.
yet. But so we were still trying to find our sound at that time. But
Got it.
we had a couple of our now hits, I guess, if you want to call them that. Like we had Rattle the Gates.
Cool.
Finished right before North Country Fair. I think we debuted it at
Oh,
North Country Fair.
The 3 songs I think
times.
on the first EP that we did, that was we played those.
Flesh and Blood. We had that.
Flesh and
too,
Blood,
yeah.
Man of the World, and then Run. Yeah, just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of random
Cool.
songs that you'd written that we'd kind of practiced, and it wasn't like a super long set, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had
maybe
40 minutes
45 or
something.
something.
45, yeah.
Okay.
But
It's a solid set.
But people loved it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Luckily enough, like I grew up close to North Country Fair, so there were a lot of people I know and who knew who I was.
Yep.
And you know, it's such a small community, High Prairie, that a lot of people came out just to see us, which was really cool. But then more and more people started to flock because they saw the crowd, and I mean, just having that friend base, and then it was awesome. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Super cool.
You guys have a really, speaking of the friend base and the whole thing, you guys have like a really tight following, you know, like which I really dig, man. It's I don't know, when I first saw you guys perform, it was 2017 because I moved back to town in 2017 from abroad, I guess. But it was just one of those shows where, like, I mean, Fred's was packed. It was jam packed, and people were there to see you. You know, it was a lot of good energy, good vibes.
Yeah,
man. It was very cool.
We have the best fans in the
It's
world.
always fun playing here.
Best fans in the world. Yeah. You know who you are.
You know who you are. That's right. You mentioned you guys had some recording done. Were you guys recording around that time, or did you record the first EP after North Country Fair and Econoline Crush and the whole thing?
Right after Econoline Crush, we went in.
Well, we won some money from that contest, and so we just decided to record a song with it. So we recorded Flesh and Blood before we recorded the other 2 songs.
Yeah.
Got it. Where did you record?
Was it what's the
Dovefire.
name? Dovefire. Yeah.
Nathanael Sterr, classic.
Sterr.
Yes. Very cool. I guess let's walk it back to the contest. What was the contest that you won?
It was Rock 97.7 Battle of the Bands.
It was called,
okay.
The contest
Cool.
was called My Big Break, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
yeah. Where was it
JC at
held?
Rock 97.7 was our cheerleader.
JC. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
but
that was here at Fred's.
Was,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was funny because we only really, we played one gig before that, and then
Yeah.
we were just like, let's just throw our names into this thing. You know,
why
like,
not?
Whatever, why not?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Next thing you know, you
then-
make the semifinals.
Then we won.
And then you make the
Whoa.
finals.
Amazing.
And then you win. And it's like,
All
we got one
right.
of those big
So,
checks I never in a million years thought
No
I'd ever
way.
get one of those big
a big
checks.
check,
Yeah.
an oversized check. How big was it?
Like one of those gigantic ones.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's amazing.
Like when you see on like the movies where they have the Battle of the Bands.
like the
and,
Publishers Clearinghouse.
It was
checks.
like Nelson sized.
Well, I remember watching School of Rock. Yeah, Nelson's. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Like
there you go.
medium sized.
I remember like watching School of Rock when I was like 7 years
Yep,
old, and
yep.
and they at the end when they win and they give them the
Yes.
big check, and I was like, oh,
Absolutely.
man, it's
you made it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It happened. One day.
I think Riley still has it in his house.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's
He's
great.
hung on.
yeah, it's in their basement.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then from there, so we won the opportunity to
Yeah.
open for Econoline Crush.
Amazing, yeah.
And we got to hang out with Trevor.
Yep.
Which was man. We hung out with him like all
Yeah.
night, which was super cool, and it was just a great experience.
Super cool,
Absolutely.
dude.
So, and then from there, I mean, John obviously he grew fond of us, you know, and then he started giving us all kinds of opportunities after that. Like Riley and I got to open for Everlast.
Oh, no
which
way.
was like the most mind-blowing thing in my entire life.
And like
you know?
I was gone, or
Yeah,
I was
you
in
guys,
school
you and
or
Nelson
something.
were out
maybe,
away
yeah.
at school, and so John.
Yeah,
just
he was in
kinda-
Calgary for school, and I was in Edmonton. Yeah.
And so John called me up. He's like, "Hey, do you guys want to open?" And I said, "Well, it's just Riley and I." He said, "That's fine. It's an acoustic set." So Riley and I are, yeah, okay. I've never been so nervous in my entire life.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But then from there, it was just things kind of took off, which was awesome.
That's amazing. I guess, does that bring us up to like 2016, 2017?
Yeah.
Interesting. I got back to town. I remember one of the first shows I went to, I think you guys were maybe headlining, maybe you were opening for somebody, I don't remember. What were you guys
Did
doing
you make
fall
the Strombella's
2017?
show? Were you at that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that would have been just before, probably.
Yeah. There's that one. There's the Trues, which was a little bit later.
That was okay.
That was only like last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
2016 I was gone.
2016
I was in
you
New
were gone.
Zealand. So there was a lull.
Right.
Yeah. There it all
There
adds
we
up.
go.
Okay,
Yes.
that's why we're having
So
trouble.
then that
Adds
brings
up.
us to 2017. Yeah.
Got it.
So I felt bad, I left these guys
Yeah.
right when things were starting to heat up, and
Sure.
I'm like, I gotta follow my heart.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
Of
and
course.
They were reluctantly supportive.
We're just like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's go travel.
Do what you got to do.
Do your
Yeah.
thing.
Write some songs. And so I made sure I wrote some songs to bring back with me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was Red Mountain.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me about when you got back. Was it was kind of getting back and getting the band back on track a priority, or was it like, you just returned and so you got to do some other stuff first, or did it all just happen at the same time?
No, it all happened at the same time.
Yeah.
I was sending these guys snapshots
okay.
of the stuff I was working on,
Yeah.
and they were working on their parts. So
Which seems
honestly,
to work pretty good. You just sort of
Yep.
send us little, voice memos of like
Yeah.
a melody and some, words you're just making up and some chords, and then all the other three of us just kind of like listen to it a bunch and try to like write parts that we think might work. And so, it usually ends up working out.
I think
Absolutely.
the first practice
Pretty
that we
good.
did, that we did when we got back, it was
Yeah.
just like the songs were almost fully fleshed out. It was
Beautiful.
super
Well,
cool.
the first time we ran through those 3 songs that you'd written in New Zealand, we were in Edmonton because I was going to school. So
That was
we were like
September.
practicing
okay.
in one of the
Yep.
rehearsal spaces at the school. I don't know.
because we had a show lined up.
Oh, cool.
We had a
Okay.
show
Yeah,
lined
we
up.
had some big reunion show thing happening.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we worked them out that day. We had almost all of them fleshed out,
Yeah.
and then we were good to go. Yeah, and then we had a reunion show. I think it must have been October
Cool.
Was
of
it here at
2016. I
Fred's?
think it was here at
Oh,
Fred's.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, I think. And then, so we were sitting on the songs for quite a while before we decided to. Well, and we needed to make some money, obviously, because we wanted to, splurge.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
splurged.
You guys are too kind. When you were thinking of recording, how did the whole situation come about? Like recording the EP?
Well, you were the one that got us involved with Velveteen.
Okay.
I don't know how that really worked out.
Yeah. Sorry, like what was your question?
the,
Because like we sort
yeah.
of brought up like, those 3 songs. It's like those would just make a really solid
Right.
EP. Like just they were all written in the same place and they all kind of had the same
There's a continuity.
sort of vibe. There's there's an element of continuity and but yeah, as far as the recording process, I just kind of asked some friends of mine in Edmonton, who are some good engineers, what are some cool I kind of knew some of the studios that were around town, but I just sort of asked some of my like gigging friends and studio session player friends and they were like, go to Velveteen. I'm like, okay. So a friend of mine hooked me up with Brad Smith.
Brad Smith.
Yes,
And,
Brad Smith. Hey, Brad.
Smith.
Great dude. And so we all of the shout outs.
Yeah.
So I met with him and just kind of chatted and checked out the space and we just decided that was where we wanted to do our next thing. And then I got a hold of you and sort of figured it all out. And that was that.
And one thing I forgot is the last song on the EP, Ghost River, was actually written in Canada when I got back, after I got back.
Yep.
So it was kind of...
And it was sort of a last minute thing to put it on the...
Well, I was fighting for it. All three of them, they were
Yeah.
hesitant and they didn't want it on there. And I said, I want it on there. I don't know why. I just want it on there. Because it,
So
it
we
was
just
kind
did
of,
it. We're like...
It was kind of my like, it was that I'm back in Canada.
Yeah.
I just, I had an experience that I just wanted to get out. And it was kind of like my welcome home song, I guess,
Absolutely.
in a weird kind of way. But yeah, so that song wasn't written until December of 2016.
Okay.
So then we kind of were working around with the songs, and then we figured we'd save up some money.
Yep.
And then so 2017 we played North Country Fair. We did quite a few gigs over the summer to save up so that we could go into the studio in the fall.
Got it.
And that's where you came in.
Wow, that's right. I'm trying to think. We hopped in the studio like fall 2018, right?
Oh, was it 2018?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2018, because I got back to town August 2017. And then my life completely changed that year.
Yeah.
And so 2018, I was traveling a lot. It just became one of these things where I was here every other week. I was here, and then every other week I would travel for work, just trying to hustle and make some money, pay the bills, that kind of thing. Yeah. And I remember being in New York City, and I don't know if you called or if probably like Facebook Messenger or something like that.
We set up just a quick meeting at 55A Cafe.
Oh,
I think
that's
you
right.
and I met up and just started chatting about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Summer 2017, we recorded the first album. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
Because we only recorded Flesh and Blood.
2017?
It was 2017 we recorded the first EP.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think it was 2016.
No, it wasn't, because I didn't get back until fall of 2016. So
Did we record it before you left, though? Because
the full EP? I don't think so.
The first one?
I don't remember. We'll have to ask.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Either way.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Nasty thing.
Time is
Crazy,
weird.
huh?
Yeah.
What a thing.
Either way.
Either way.
Yeah, I guess there was like a year there that I was kind of...
Well, yeah.
Somewhere around
But
that
anyways,
time.
that experience at Velveteen, that was so
Recorded
much fun.
some stuff.
Working with you was so awesome.
Oh, thank you. You're
Arjun's
too
the
kind,
man.
man. Too kind.
Yes. Yeah, it was cool seeing you and Brad sort of team up and kind of co-engineer. Yeah.
Plus we
talking for hours and hours about analog gear, and none of us really know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. And it's one of those things about anything that you do, when you find like another person who nerds out on it as hard as you do, you're like, Fairchild.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to watch
woo.
people like you and Brad talk together.
You're too kind, man. Thank you. How did the conversation come about, or how did that go between you guys about bringing me on board? Because I'd worked with Dave, but I mean,
I just told him about you, and I was like, man,
I
got this buddy. He's like,
I know a guy.
Well, Nathanael introduced me to you, like right before that happened. And he said, "This is a guy you need to meet." And so I said, "Sure, let's meet him." And then Dave said, I want to bring Arjun, Arjun on board. And I said, he's like the nicest guy I've ever met. Let's do it. Plus, he looks like he knows music.
You want someone who's like easy to work with.
You want somebody who's easy to work with. Yeah.
Totally.
Not that Nate wasn't easy to work with. He was
course.
awesome too.
I understand.
Always trying new things. And
Absolutely. I mean, I was glad for the call. Like it was, it was a very fortuitous thing. I think I was flying to New York or returning to Grande Prairie from New York, but I flew to Edmonton like the night before hitting the studio, and then we were in the studio for like 3 days.
Yeah. Right.
And then I flew back to Grande Prairie, something like that. But it was amazing. It was, again, I, appreciate what you guys do. I like the artistry, and Velveteen, I didn't know much about any of them because I'd been away, so I didn't know, what the studios were, who the recording cats were, that kind of thing. Yeah. And the whole place was great. The whole situation was cool. It was a good vibe. Brad, Randor, Lin, all those guys were great. And so I had a good time, which is, I feel like, that's kind of how I feel about most of my recording sessions. Yeah. So like
hopefully that's why you do it.
You just love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it was really cool. Tell me about your guys' experience in the studio, like, that weekend putting the songs together.
We didn't know if we were going to finish it, because we were just like, let's just do live takes of like everything. Yeah. And, try to record 4 songs in 3 days and make it sound like a record, right? It's like, okay, well, we can try.
Well, the plan was, let's do the 3 and see if we can fit that 4th in. And I was determined. I'm like, we're doing that 4th one. It's getting in there.
Absolutely. So we compromised. I think we were like, we're recording Ghost River last just to make sure we got enough time. Yeah. But you also did an amazing job, like making sure everything was kind of like staying on track. As well as like producing the whole thing. We'd be tracking. You'd be like, all right. I'd be like, oh, let's do one more take. And you're like, no, I think we got to move.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's okay. It's good.
You stood up to Dave, which is no easy feat.
We got everything we need.
When you get something in his head, no. Tunnel vision. But but I mean,
sometimes I go crazy, but
you handled this well at our worst.
You reined me in.
When we turned into divas, Your calm, soothing voice brought us back down to earth.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
Through those headphones. I'm sweating in the booth. I'm like, I don't know if I got another one. Like, dude, just do one more. I mean, that's great.
It's fine.
That's great. Every take was great in Arjun's eyes.
Every take. Dude, that was great. Let's just try one more.
Just one more. Yeah.
Just one more, just for me. I mean, you guys, this record is done. Just give me one more. For me.
One more. Yeah.
All these tricks.
And then we actually finished it, and by the end of it, we had like an hour or two left.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
we had booked off for being there, and there were like a couple things that we like could have tried to like touch up on or redo or whatever, and takes here and there that we could have. We were just like, let's just sit back and like listen to the songs.
Yeah.
Dave's never happy.
Yeah, never ever.
I
I remember like the last hour of just chilling at the studio. We just like hit the space bar and listened to everything we did, and we were just like,
we enjoyed the fruits of our labor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great way to wrap it up. I'm pretty sure we were like listening and like bouncing mixes at the time, because I feel like we emailed everyone like rough mixes when everyone left or something like that.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was quick. A big part of this is like, all of this is to your guys' credit, showing up, like, I was kind of like, okay, cool, let's see what the situation is, like, I wasn't sure if like Brad was like the guy, like in terms of, look, he's a producer, so he calls the shots, and again, to his credit, he didn't know who I was, obviously, so it's one of those things that could be like, well, we know a guy who records or something.
Well, he didn't know what to expect either.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was great. I mean, it was a really good working experience at Velveteen with Brad, the whole thing. But again, it's to your guys' credit that everything ended up the way it did. It's like, I guess it's not my first rodeo. So, so I'm like, okay,
which helped.
These guys can do it. Like if we stick to this schedule, if we crank it out in this way, push you guys here, like, take a break here. Like I was confident that we could have all 4 songs in the bag. It's like, I liked all 4 songs too. So I'm like, this guy should record 4 tunes. Come on.
It's a nice even number.
Nice even number, exactly. And it worked out. Yeah. And again, I'm super happy for being involved, and that was good. And then I feel like we had a couple of weeks of chill time, and then we mixed the record.
Well, we edited the record. We edited for days. Well, which kind of needs to be done if you're just doing everything live off the floor, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. One thing that I appreciate about the record is that all of the performances were performed by you guys live together. Went back and did some overdubs, but it's like a record how records used to be made, and any of the editing that we did, just for anyone who's like thinking, well, if you recorded live, why did you edit? It's just those tiny little things where the performances we had, the things that we comped together, and we were like recording, punching in live, like destructive punching in for people who are into the recording thing. Like kind of flying without a safety net, but it brought out the best performances. And so we had the performances captured. And then it was just a question of like nudging a thing here and there a little bit, and that was it. And I mean, that stuff, like talk about minutia, right? That's like you're zoomed in into Pro Tools looking at waveforms, and you're like, this way, something like that. And it's like imperceptible, but like to musicians, you're like, the feel is different, or that's the feel I want. So I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then the mixing was great. I mean, it was like
It's kind of frantic for you, but...
well, the funny thing about that was...
Mixing.
Well, I don't know about frantic, but
exactly.
you were mixing with headphones and an airplane because your flight was delayed.
Totally,
and you're like,
absolutely.
Got to get these mixes done.
Oh, heck yeah.
3 days.
And the funny thing was, I had like... I had some time in New York where I feel like we were almost done mixing, or we were like, these are the final mixes.
Yeah.
And then I had some time just free at Power Station in New York City, which used to be Avatar, but now is a Power Station at Berkeley, NYC. And I think I was putting some of my projects through the board, and I thought, this record already sounds great. What if I put it through the board?
The board, the studio.
Yeah,
the
absolutely. It was. I'm pretty sure it was Studio B, so that was an SSL G series with a bunch of outboard gear, and I don't know how that conversation came about, but I feel like the mixes had to be sent to Brad like the next morning. So I was like,
yeah. Well, there was one night of us
like
just
that.
like you and I back and forth being like, and like they were super quiet mixes because you didn't want to push everything too far. You weren't like slamming a limiter on it or anything. So I was like, I had like my computer turned up all the way with like just like squeezing the headphones because like by the third. Fourth mix you hear, you're just like, I can't even tell the difference anymore.
Right. And we were living together at the time, and I remember you coming into the.
I had some other stuff going on too. I think at the time I was just like losing my mind. There's just this other
He'd come downstairs at like midnight,
done.
and if I was awake, he'd be like, "Hey man, just listen to this. Just listen to this." And I'm like, "I'm going to bed."
Yeah, exactly.
I trust you.
Oh my gosh.
I trust you, man.
It's one of those cliched things that people always say, like, it's analog gear, man. It punches like this.
No, but it definitely made it sound better. Yeah,
I feel like it was worth it.
And like all the most of the processing was in the box, right? And then you just ran all of the tracks through the board.
Yeah, absolutely. So what ended up
you did a little bit of like bus compression or something.
I did. I submixed. We had the mixes.
For all the music nerds out there.
All the music nerds, exactly.
Music tech nerds.
Oh man, you guys love this. I know you want to hear this, But we had everything at like, what we thought was the final mix. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. And so I just took all the buses, I submixed all the things and sent them out through stereo channels across the SSL. And I used like SSL, some compression, some EQing. I threw your stuff through some outboard gear that I felt would be great. And because we were like, this was like the nth hour. This was like the time is running out. So I did just a little bit. But yeah, that's what it was. It was EQing, compression, some processing across the submixes of each set of instrument groups. And I think it made a good difference.
Oh yeah.
I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
And that was the record.
To put it simply, Arjun worked his ass off.
Yes. Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate
For anyone who's not a mix engineer. It's,
right, exactly.
He worked really hard. He made it sound really good.
Oh my gosh. Well, again, it's, it comes down to like the songwriting and the performance and the whole thing, but it's a good record.
It's a team.
Gentlemen,
it's a team effort.
Oh, always. Exactly.
I think I posted this recently. We were striving for excellence to the max.
Yes, you did post that on Facebook. Yeah.
I think we wrote it on our little whiteboard too, didn't we? To the
exactly.
max.
We did.
Excellence to the max. That was our slogan.
That's what it was.
Thing.
Our motto for the weekend.
Heck yeah. You guys nailed it. It was good.
Thanks, man. It was so much fun.
It was just a blast.
Absolutely. When you guys had a album release party, how did that go? What was the reception like for how was the show like? What was the reception to the record like?
We sold out Fred's by 9:30 that night.
Oh yeah,
and there was like a lineup of people at the door.
We felt bad.
We felt bad. We're like, we should have, done more. I don't know.
Well, we could have.
We should be less awesome, guys. Come on, just
we really gotta just
Come
like.
But there was a sad part to that story. We had our new T-shirts printed right before.
Right,
we got them the day before.
Yep.
And they were all misprints.
What do you mean?
Like we got an entire batch of misprints.
Something just
What did
went
it
wrong
say?
with their silk screener or something, and like because for the first EP that we did, we got the shirts and it was like the tree logo thing that was on the record, and we did the same thing for the Red Mountain EP, and so the Red Mountain in the circle compass kind of thing was there, and so but all of the graphics were kind of blotchy and just like something went wrong when they in the manufacturing process.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we got a hold of the company and they said, don't know how this happened, because we were kind of hesitant. We were like not sure if we should like email them, be like, hey, it wasn't quite what we wanted, and right away they were just like, oh, I'm like super sorry, don't know how this happened. We'll send you a bunch of new ones. But we didn't end up having shirts for the show, which kind of sucked, but
we didn't throw them out. Don't worry, we didn't throw them out. We're donating them to
excellent.
What is it? Salvation Army. Yeah. So they went to a good place. So it wasn't a waste of shirts. It's just we didn't want to charge people money to buy them because
Understood.
They didn't look the way we wanted them to. But anyways, so other than that little mishap, the show was amazing. It was awesome. We as our shows usually end up, we feed off the energy of the crowd. So
for sure.
And we always have a great crowd. So it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
So that give and take,
That give and take.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Boy, what's next for the Northbloods? What's happening? guys got some gigs, new tunes. What's the deal?
Yeah, what are we doing?
We've
What are
kind of
you
been doing some lower key stuff as of right now.
We're trying to write some new stuff.
Yeah,
And
we got some new tunes in the works. We are gonna hopefully record a single maybe this winter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
some point
at some point.
soon-ish. Yeah, we might try to do a single.
I'm involved in something a little different.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to be in a stage production of the Grapes of Wrath.
Grapes
put
of
on by
Wrath. Beautiful.
the Bear Creek Music Festival
Yep.
Association in November. There's 11 performances in November, so come on out and see. So that's going to keep me pretty busy for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
But we also we're doing something with the Rotary in October.
Cool.
Yeah, we're doing a house concert this coming weekend.
Yep.
And then the weekend after that we're doing a thing with Rotary. Just like singing some songs around the campfire kind of thing. Which will be fun and I don't know. That's it for shows, I think.
Yeah, and then we're just gonna see what we can get for festivals for next summer, and I mean, hopefully we'll have a Fred show or two over the winter.
Yeah.
you know, when with Riley and I teaching, we kind of get busy in the winter,
Absolutely.
but we will still want to play every chance we get, kind of thing. So it's more the songwriting time, I guess. Winter.
Of course. Yeah. The natural sort of album cycle thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then got it.
Summer was good. Yeah, we finished a kind of a mini tour with Lion Eyes at the end of August. There.
Right. How were those shows?
Oh, they were great.
They were
awesome.
so much fun.
Yeah. By the way, Lion Eyes, what a band.
Oh,
What a great band.
Great band.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Nicest guys too. We had a great time. with that.
Amazing.
They got a new album coming out as well. Yeah, I think October 1st. So.
Very cool.
Check it out.
I saw some,
Check it out.
some Instagram posts
Heck
of
yeah.
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we finished off the summer on a high note, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The day job grind.
The day
and
job
trying to
grind.
write.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's the reality of being a musician these days.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, right? Like, you got to pay the bills. You have to have a day job, and then music as hard as you can when you can.
Music king.
Yeah.
Music
It's a
king. That's
verb.
right.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's a great balance what we have going,
Yeah.
because you're not fully involved in one or the other. It's kind of
Right.
a balance, right? And it's just you still appreciate it for what it is. You
Yeah.
know, it's that release that you
Definitely.
need. Yeah.
It's like a super healthy approach,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
dig it.
That's where we're at.
Well,
it's good.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows what's going to come? We're
The future.
future.
Who knows, man?
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows the future? Well, this might be a good place to pause our conversation, as it were,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
now.
Maybe we can get the other guys out next time.
Oh my gosh, 4 Northbloods is.
Northbloods
Oh my
is.
gosh,
All the
it'd be
best.
cool if you guys had like first names like the Ramones. It was like Tommy Northblood and Mikey
Blood.
Northblood.
Dave Blood,
Blood.
Riley
Right.
Blood.
Exactly.
Nelly
Nelson
Blood.
Blood.
Yeah.
Nelly Blood. Well,
We-
it's just an idea. I don't-
Yeah.
You guys don't have to.
Yeah.
I think
We might
I like
also,
it.
just a heads up, maybe be doing a collaboration with. If you want
What?
to talk about stuff that's.
Oh
Stuff
my
that's
We're allowed
god.
to talk about
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we?
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about
Okay,
that.
no,
Do you want
it's
to
okay.
cut that out?
It's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if we
I'll,
should cut it out, but we just
okay.
we won't go any further
No, it's
because we
fine.
don't know
Yeah.
yet.
all
We,
good.
we don't know for sure.
Okay.
But
Something may happen
Something may be on the horizon.
involving beer,
Beer.
and the
Yes.
Northbloods.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a mysterious note to end on.
Yes.
Which is good because it's like a cliffhanger. Keeps people
Yeah.
wanting more. Hopefully they will the suspense. Hopefully they will watch this episode over and over and try to figure out what's going on.
Do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll hit like and subscribe.
Maybe.
While
Just
they-
maybe.
Just maybe. Who
Like
knows
and
these
subscribe.
things? Like and subscribe. It's your boy.
It's your boy Arjun.
It's your boy Mikey Northblood. Zachy Northblood.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. This has
Yes.
been a
Thanks
treat.
for having us.
Thank
on.
you.
This is awesome.
So much fun. Yeah, let's do it again. We can do all the Northbloods if you
Anytime.
like, whatever,
Heck yeah.
whatever works. Well, thank you and good night.
Yes. Thank
Good
you.
night. Like, subscribe. Good night.
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
Do it. Do it now.
Done. Thank you.
Thanks, man.